Tonight we are at our very first BizVoice Network event hosted by the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We've just had an amazing session where we've gathered entrepreneurs, business professionals, like-minded professionals that are interested in building, connecting and networking. And we have the pleasure of sitting with our speakers that graced us with their presence and amazing insights. One of them being Thembeka Magwaza, the founder of TM Public Speaking. She's here today to chat to us a little bit about what brings her here, about her story. I'd like to introduce Thembeka Magwaza. Hi, Thembeka.
Hello, Yama. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's so wonderful to join you here tonight.
Thank you for being here. It's a
course.
pleasure to chat to you, and I loved your session that you held at the sessions outside where we've been having our networking event. And we thought we'd pull you aside as part of our podcast and ask you a few questions, grace our listeners, watchers with what you've shared with us at this networking event. I'll start off by asking, tell us a little bit about you, your own journey as an entrepreneur, as a business person. Where did it start and how did it all start?
Fantastic. I like that question because I've had such a colorful journey, of entrepreneurship that started all the way back in 2015. And in 2015, I was a budding creative communications agency owner through Itina Creatives. And that has pivoted so many times in itself. Within that, I started like a podcast for myself, like a little talk show that we did. It was called the 100% Talk Show. I've worked with small clients and large clients. I spoke today about my biggest client, which is the Durban Business Fair. So that was really quite interesting. And throughout my entrepreneurship journey, I really I started because it was in creative communications, and so we were doing digital marketing in particular, right? Particularly with Durban Business Fair. And so we actually had the opportunity to do a digital marketing masterclass for SMMEs, right? And so when we did that class, and we saw that people are actually having such a difficult time communicating virtually because people just have a difficult time communicating in general, And so now this took me back to a prophecy I'd had many years ago, where the prophecy said I was going to touch the world through speaking. And so that connected for me so powerfully, in that I think one of my responsibilities or calling in life is to help people be able to communicate. And that's a very, very basic story of how TM Public Speaking was born. And so TM Public Speaking was born from that because I wanted to help founders and entrepreneurs initially, right, to be able to communicate their value proposition with confidence and etc. Now, I had been speaking for very many years. I was in the emceeing space. I was in the speaking space in various ways and various platforms. And so I thought, with my little experience, with my little knowledge, I feel maybe I've got something to impart, And so from there, TM Public Speaking grew as well, and incorporated professionals as well, incorporated students and job seekers. And recently, we've actually started working with kids and teens, which that is quite exciting, where we really just empower them with confident communication, because we obviously see that confident communication helps you in every single sphere of your life, whether you're looking at your life professionally as an entrepreneur, whether you're looking just to develop in very many ways. That's where communication helps you. And so that has been the journey of how Tina Creatives began and TM Public Speaking began. But I'm an entrepreneur in the general. I've got other businesses that I'm involved in as well. Some of them I've begun myself, and some of them I've partnered with other SMMEs. And so we're just on this growth journey. So I think in a nutshell, that's basically how my business journey has transpired, all the way to the amazing session that we had today at the Durban Chamber.
Amazing. That is a fantastic testimony and a wonderful story. I'd like to know how it's going. And if you were to look back to your younger self, the younger Thembeka, what would you say to her about this journey and what she could do differently or better or change? How is it going?
Yeah.
And what would you tell her?
100%. It's going. If we zoom out, right? Okay, maybe talk about me, obviously specifically. If I zoom out and I look at it, it's really going well. But obviously, if you go into the nitty gritties, there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of learnings. There's a lot of failures and also successes. That are happening within business. But if I was to speak about TM Public Speaking in particular, I think it's going very educationally. Because I really love the space of teaching, because you actually get to learn a lot, right? When you're teaching, because you need to equip yourself with the knowledge, with the abilities, with the skills, with the resources in order to be able to impart. So a lot of learning. And if I was to speak to younger Thembeka and, empower her and impart some skill into her, I would say, Thembeka, be open to learning, be really curious. In fact, one of the things that we spoke about tonight, be curious, because that's when you're able to know the things that you don't know, and the things that you don't know are the things that are going to really help you in your business journey and really consolidate it. So it's really been a time of great learning as you're giving. So I actually was part of a session not so long ago. The topic of it was give to gain. So I actually have experienced that in my business journey, that the more you give is actually the more you gain as well, right? And the more you're able to recognize your inadequacies and then be able to build into them. So really, that's how the business journey has been going, with all its ups and downs and all its teachable moments and all its successes and failures. But on the general, if I could just sum it up, I would say it's actually really good and mostly educational.
Wow, very interesting. So be curious, give to gain.
100%.
Those are some of the things that I picked up from that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And just bringing us back to networking and why we are here tonight. Why do you think networking is important, particularly for young professionals and entrepreneurs?
100%. Look, whatever you're doing, you're a professional and entrepreneur, you can't be in a silo. There's no way that you could be in a silo. There's no way that you're going to be able to progress. And going back to my journey of the educational journey that I'm on, there's no way you can learn new things, right? When you're in a silo and or you're by yourself. So networking is very important. And now I like the word networking. It's a little bit different from having a conversation.
Yeah.
Although conversation becomes part of that process. But networking is very specific in that you're wanting to formulate a net, right? That's how I look at it in my mind. That's the picture that comes together. It's basically like a net, almost like a spider web, right? Of all the little points that join together that really make the tapestry of what it is that you're trying to build and what you're trying to create. So networking, if you want to expand, almost like if you're crocheting something, right? Or if you're sewing something, to make it bigger, you need to connect all of the little pieces, right? And make it bigger. So it's very important for young professionals and entrepreneurs as well to network, to number one, make that circle bigger so that you are able to really bring your skills out, bring your expertise out, bring whatever it is that you're bringing out. But on the general, to make money. We all want to make money at the end of the day, and we shouldn't be shy about speaking about that. We need to make money, whether you're making money professionally through promotions, through getting new employment and etc. Whether you're making money as an entrepreneur with going into new business spaces, going into new client bases and etc. It is so imperative that we network, because then we get to know what we don't know. And that's very important, right? And the thing is, as I was saying earlier, we don't know what we don't know. And if we're not in networking space and we're not talking to people in a building a mindset, then we never get to learn all of those skills. So networking, I think it's really imperative to grow yourself in whatever it is that you're trying to grow in.
Very good, very interesting. Good perspective and good learning, particularly for younger starters of businesses and entrepreneurs. I think it's a very important message. My next question is about the BizVoice networking event itself. So the Durban Chamber of Commerce is obviously hosting this series of networking events, and I would like to find out from you, what do you think makes this different from a typical networking session? Just from what you've experienced, from what you've seen, and how your experience has been this evening. What do you think makes this different?
Sure. What stood out to me is what I really love, the casual nature of it, right? It's obviously got the undertones of a very serious engagement. It's got the undertones of we want to walk out of here having made serious connections, etc. But really the liveliness of it, and the way that it's just so informal, and the way that people are just encouraged to just relax and let their hair down. I mean, there wasn't even a requirement to dress a certain way. There wasn't a requirement to bring a certain voice with you.
Yeah.
People were just invited, to just be themselves. And I love also how this session in particular is in celebration of Youth Day, of Youth Month rather, right? Because look, every day is Youth Month. Every month is Youth Month. Yes. Because the youth is our future, right? Yes. The youth is our future. And if we don't really plow into the youth, right? Cognitively plow into the youth, then we don't have a future. So I love the relaxed nature of it. And I love also how it's about big business and small business, coming together in a room and in a space where 100%, right, where people can be able to network and share in a very casual environment. Look, it's not every day that you get to sit with an APSA,
Yes.
Exactly. It's not every day that you get to sit with the Durban Chamber, even, in that kind of relaxed environment. So really, that to me is the most standout thing that really makes it so different, from the other networking sessions. And the fact that there's a podcast element that supports it, that really makes it a greater conversation now. We go to networking events and it becomes just about that thing in that time, right? We make whatever connections that we're making and we go home. But really, this element in this edition of the podcast now extends the conversation further outside of the time that we're actually spending here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I like the amount of time as well. It was a very short program, so that we can allow for time for people to actually come and network and chat with each other. And I love also the guests that you guys asked to have on, because I think what happens now is that ground of networking is now fertile, right? It's facilitated so that people can land. It's very difficult to try and get into a dry room. Now you have to try and speak to the people, you know what I mean? But now the Biz Network has really created that fertile soil, that very comfortable landing spot that young people can just land on and be able to network from there. So I really find that interesting about this session.
Wonderful. That's good feedback. And Thembeka, tell us a little bit about what you shared tonight during your session. So you shared some amazing insights and dropped really good gems. For our audience that weren't there physically, tell us a little bit more about what you shared.
Sure, yeah. So the topic of my talk today was from hesitation to hustle, right? Basically the importance of networking connection, right? Creating those networks and be able to connect with people in a room with confidence, right? I am a public speaking coach, and so my basis is always confidence, right? What I basically shared today is there's nothing wrong with upapa. Panje. Because the thing is, you know what I mean? Yeah. So the thing, sometimes I think for us, even African people, Zulu people in particular, it's always like, hi, muso papa, don't be so audacious, don't be so out there, don't be so outspoken, all of those things. And sometimes we walk into a room and we need to be that, and so people are now drawing back and they're like, no, am I being too much? Am I being too loud? Am I being too extra? All of those things. So really my talk was really just to activate people again, create that fertile ground that people are able to communicate confidently. And also part of what I shared is that you don't need to be polished before you can be confident, right? Confidence, you will build it along the way as you're continuing. Confidence really is like a muscle that you build at the gym. And as you're continuing to go to the gym and building that muscle, that's when you're able to now see where you're going wrong, see all of the things that you can improve on. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, right? Myself, even as a speaking coach, I always see room for improvement. Again, my educational journey, there's always room for improvement. And when you just go ahead and you do it, and if you feel to your papa, just go for it, so that you are able to pick up on all of those little things and all of those discrepancies, and you're watching the people next to you and you're listening to, what are they saying, what is their conversation, and etc. So you can be able to pick it up and then you'll improve from there, right? That's how confidence is built. Confidence is built in the doing, right? So yes, it's important to have an elevator pitch. It's okay, it's good, and we obviously can train you and be able to build that and formulate that. But what happens to you before your perfect elevator pitch? Does that mean now you can't, you can't walk into a space and really and be effective and impactful in that space? So really mine was to encourage people to be able to show up in those spaces where networking happens, where the networking is happening informally in those spaces, but there are a lot of very informal spaces where we can have, conversations and networking opportunities. I mean, Simo also spoke about in an elevator. You're in the lift with someone and you want to just, strike up small talk. You never know what can actually, develop from there, right? So really mine was just around building the audacity to just be brave, just show up, build that muscle of confidence, and then really let your world expand. And that is okay.
Amazing. Truly gems and very, very insightful session for those that attended. It was a very good session and we learned a lot. So thank you, Thembeka.
So glad.
And then if you could just give us a last parting shot, if you could give us a message, what is the key message that you would share with our audience that weren't able to see you live in person? Anything that you would share with people that are interested in, expanding their networks, improving their confidence, as you say. What is your last message that you would give to our audience?
Sure. First, I want to say you missed out. You should have been in the room. You missed out. But even though you missed out, I think the last thing that I want to say is that open your mouth and speak. This is actually your biggest billboard. This is our biggest billboard that we have, right? That one of the lines that I actually said was that no one knows you until they've met you. Right? And you can never be able to interact and impact anyone if no one has ever met you, right? Mandoza always says, I always say this line, Mandoza said it well, uzoyithola kanjani hlezi khoneni,
Yes.
So come out of the corner. If I would actually just leave a parting shot with everybody, it's just to have that audacity, papa man, have that audacity, come out of the corners. And also the thing is, again, you don't know what you don't know until you know. And we don't know what you have until you tell us, right? We don't know what you can do. And also, people find that, oh no, Yama's already doing this thing and she's probably doing it really well, but she's not doing it like you. You are the you that you need, right? You are the you that you need, and you are the you that we need as well, right? We need to see the way that you do things. We need to see the way that you formulate things. We need to see the way that you interpolate things, right? The way that you take ideas and expand them or not expand them or make them small, whatever it is, right? So we need to see you for who exactly you are, right? Whether you speak like Thembeka or whether you don't, or whether you've got this much English or whether you have this much, whether you've got that much experience or whether you have this much, really you are the you that you need, and you are the you that we need as well. So really I would like to encourage the young people out there, particularly when you are in entrepreneurship and you are a professional or whatever it is that you want to do with your life, really just be audacious and come out of your shell. We want to see you and want to hear what you have, the small little nuance that you have in doing whatever it is, right? It's like, I can't sell a makunya, everyone is selling a makunya. It's like, yeah, but you haven't been the one to sell a makunya. We don't know how you could sell a makunya, right? So if you want to sell a makunya, do it and do it in your authentic way, because you are the you that we need.
Amazing. Thembeka, thank you very much for your time.
You're so welcome.
We've really enjoyed having you and appreciate everything that you've shared. And yes, we hope to see you again and work with you further. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really wish this podcast all the best. And I can't wait to see it have millions and millions and millions of followers, because it has to, because it's improving people's lives.
Thank you.